1,000-meter run. We could see our meet record there held by Michigan State's Jenna Magnus. And once we get into this field here, you'll be able to see our start list of competitors off to the side. And our early leader looks to be Anna Jewell from Michigan.
And 42 on the start list for the women's 5K. Jewell, who we saw in the 1500. Potentially doing what we saw on the men's side with a little bit of pace help from one of the 1,500-meter runners to get things moving along, thin out the field a little bit. And right now, at the front, it's Jewell, Ori, and Steve of Wisconsin, Engel and Santos of Ohio State, Kane and DeMars of Penn State.
Now keep in mind here, we do have several events still left to be scored on the women's side, but currently the Michigan women are out front with 100 points. Nebraska sitting in second with 89. Ohio State in third with 87. So close battle here. Michigan certainly has not left out a single one of their weapons in this 5K. We've got Sam Sines, Erica Vanderland, Sam Tran, and Kayla Windemuller all coming back in this women's 5,000. But Addie Engel sits in about fourth position right now. She was our 10K champion. Ohio State will look for huge points from her, Andrea Kuhn, and Daniela Santos. But right now, we've got Anna Jewell from Michigan still leading this here.
And Sarah, with Michigan leading the way right now on the women's side, obviously still some field events being completed. Discus throw just wrapped up with a Michigan win, but its scores being finalized. And there are two Nebraska athletes that would score in there as well. The women's triple jump is in the final round. So how is this one going to play out with Michigan, an 11-point lead over Nebraska, who probably not going to see them score many points here, but then Ohio State, who's sitting in third and are certainly a contender for some points?
Yeah, I think at this point it's really going to just be how many points can Michigan get in response to how many points Ohio State might be able to get. We mentioned that Addie Engel, our 10K champ, is back in this, and she's pretty close to the front here. We've got the Michigan Wolverines, several of their athletes, aside from Anna Jewell, sort of just hanging back here from Daniela Santos and Addie Engel as well.
And here's a peek at those scores. And with triple jump wrapping up, keeping in mind, of the 8 scoring athletes right now, 3 of them are from Nebraska, 2 are from Michigan, and 2 are from Ohio State. So 7 of the 8 scoring positions are likely going to wrap up as athletes from the 3 top schools here. So a lot of change going on as we wrap up. So we will have some more updated scores during this race potentially, but definitely at the completion of this one.
And you know what, the coaches of, our Michigan and Ohio State and even our Nebraska athletes here certainly just told them, there still are 4 to 5 events left. All you can worry about is what you do in this women's 5,000. And we have to score as many points as we can on the team side. So make sure you're in the right position when the moves are being made, and make sure you can get through the first half of this 5K feeling comfortable and know that you can be ready to strike when the move is important in the second half here. But we've got a lot of our individual Big Ten champions coming back. Our steeplechase champion, Caitlin Stewart-Barnett, she's in this race. Olivia Howell, our 1,500-meter champion, she's in this race. Several other scores from the steeplechase are here with Faith DeMars of Penn State. She was third. Kayla Windemuller second in the 5K. The steeplechase from last night.
Right now it's Jewell of Michigan leading the way, Ori and Steve of Wisconsin. DeMars of Penn State on the outside of lane 1 there. Addie Engel on the inside rail position in the scarlet and gray of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
We're coming up here on our 1,600 meter split. Once they cross over the 200 meter mark.
Quietly moving up there, Erica Vanderland, you can see in that straight on shot down the backstretch how she was moving her way into the mix, sitting right around 8th position now.
5'11", 5'12", approximately through the 1,600. It's just a smidge over 16:10 pace, roughly. So certainly not necessarily a pedestrian pace out here for these women, but several of them have personal bests at or under that. Addie Engel just ran a Big Ten leading time of 15:44 just a couple weeks ago.
And as this race winds up a little bit, want to draw attention to a longtime coach, Ron Helmer of the Indiana Hoosiers, who's hosting the Big Ten Championships this year. Coach Helmer stepping down and retiring after the completion of this season. This will be his final Big Ten championship. This is year 16 for him at the helm of the program. Came to Indiana after leading the Georgetown Hoyas. He had first been working under legendary coach Frank Gagliano before he took the reins there. And Sarah, just a legendary career for Coach Helmer.
Yeah, that's right. He's had 16 seasons here with the Hoosiers. And coming into this season, his final season at Indiana, he had 52 individual Big Ten champions, 6 NCAA individual titles, and 5 Big Ten team championships. So just an impressive record for Coach Helmer here in his ride with the Indiana Hoosiers. And truly, Declan, no better way to go out than a Big Ten track championships at home.
That's absolutely right. So congrats to Coach Helmer on his upcoming retirement, but job's not done yet. Still a couple events left here at the Big Ten Champs, and obviously the NCAA championships still to come.
12 meters 43. We had a correction on her score. Her best was actually 13:33. Looks like it might have been misentered at one point in time.
And they're taking it down the back stretch. And there's Coach Helmer on the back stretch, giving splits to his athletes. 16 years leading this program, and 16 very successful years, as noted by Sarah.
No change in our leaders here, though, in the women's 5,000. Well, of course, as I say that, Anna Jewell steps off the track, and it always happens.
And as we expected, Jewell, who was doubling back from the 1,500, just stringing this race out, trying to make sure that the Michigan Wolverines are putting themselves into good scoring position. And speaking of those Wolverines, now we're seeing Kayla Windemuller and Sam Tran trying to latch back onto the pack. We see Coach Kevin Sullivan providing some direction, and they're moving up and move around Brenna McQuillan of Nebraska, or as Windemuller moves up and around. And Olivia Howell sneakily up on the back of that pack, and that's not someone you want there when the things get fast at the finish.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Declan, because she sort of just hasn't really played a factor in this race here. I almost didn't even know that she was a part of that group, but we can now see that we do have some separation of this group of about 10 women from the rest of the field here. And as you mentioned, if it stays on this pace of around 16 plus minutes, even though Olivia Howell certainly doesn't have a lot of efforts at 5K, she usually runs 800 or 1,500 here, but if she's in the mix with a quarter to go, I wouldn't count her out by any means.
Howell, through the first few laps, just sitting near the back, and then slowly started making her way up now into this group of, looks to be about 10.
And we know Howell to be a 1,500 mile specialist, but she did have an impressive cross-country season this past fall. She was the Midwest region winner, qualified as an individual to the NCAA championships. May not have had as impressive as a run there as she had hoped, but certainly made big strides in terms of her aerobic capacity, you know, her ability to be able to handle longer efforts over difficult terrain.
She's run 5 and 6 kilometers in cross country, but never in her collegiate career she run a 5K on the track. So this is just different for her. You know, it's not anything that she's not capable of, knowing that she's run those distances in cross country, but while doubling back, being able to stick her nose in there and see what she's capable of. You know, we've seen her run 800s at championship meets before.
Faith DeMars of Penn State moves into the front now. We've got Sarah Schmidt moving up on the outside here. She's currently sitting in 5th position. Certainly would love to take home a Big Ten title for her team here on her home track, but also would be a nice way to send Coach Helmer out.
Danielle Ori of Wisconsin, who was leading just 300 meters ago, now as DeMars made that move, the whole field navigated their way around Ori, who's just trying to stick onto that pack, but DeMars leading the way, Vanderlend on her hip. And the pack now starting to separate a bit from Ori. 9 in the lead pack. Faith DeMars didn't really change pace there, kept it another 80-second lap, but just enough where Ori, who had done the leading for a few laps since Anna Jewell stepped off, starting to feel it. And this pack is really tightly bunched, Sarah. For a pack of this size, this late in the race, they're really kind of running right on top of each other.
We've got 9 women still in this group here.
DeMars, Vanderlend, Engel, Steve, Schmidt, Sainz, Santos, Toddy, and Howell.
3 laps to go. Faith DeMars still out front leading. Erica Vanderlend in 2nd. Addie Engel, who is no stranger to the front of Big Ten championship races, is sitting in 3rd.
Faith DeMars really even pacing here for the last few laps, everything between 78 and 80. But that's just enough to have this group of 9 separate, but not enough to break away from anyone else in this pack. DeMars, Vanderlend, Engel. Engel, no stranger to these tight, claustrophobic packs. She experienced it in the 10,000 meter run on Friday night and took a fall from it, still managed to get back up and get the win.
Happy to see her out here as well, knowing that that fall didn't injure her, you know, potentially put a damper on the remainder of her season. So glad to see her back out here as well.
Yeah, sometimes the adrenaline can take over. You can get up, you can finish the race, but it's the next day where you really start to notice, you know, the track burn, your body starts hurting. But she managed to bounce back and is out here and up at the front of the pack. And as they start moving up and around, seems they're trying to break away a little bit. Things are stringing out here with 800 meters to go, and Olivia Howell starting to drop off the pace, as is Daniela Santos.
Yeah, you can tell Howell is starting to straight just a little bit. You could see it on her face there. Certainly can't count her out, though. She's only a couple meters back from this group. Faith DeMars still out front with Erica Vanderlend in 2nd position. Sam Sainz still in the mix here as well for the Wolverines.
Vanderlend looks comfortable running on the outside of lane 1 here and just wants to make sure she's in good position as they begin to lap more and more athletes. So you don't want to be stuck on the rail in that position where you then just run up on the back of someone. You want to be in position so you can swing out. This whole field is going to be able to do it, it looks like, pretty comfortably. as Sarah Schmidt of Indiana starts to lose a little bit of ground on this pack. Vanderland making a charge to the front. At the bell, Vanderland, DeMars, Engel.
And Vanderland here to push from a quarter out really just says a lot about the confidence that she has. She hasn't raced much this outdoor season. Faith DeMars, though, still trying to hang tough. She won our 5K title indoors, but can't count out Sam Sines, who's now moving into third, with Addie Engel in fourth as we approach 200 meters to go in this women's 5,000.
Erica Vanderland charges to the front. DeMars, Sines, and Engel trying to cover the move, but now she's separating with less than 200 to go. Navigating around lapped runners. Here comes Sam Sines of Michigan trying to run down her teammate. Does DeMars of Penn State have anything left? DeMars fights back. Vanderland, Sines, DeMars.
All three of these women really close here. Will Vanderland have enough? Faith DeMars trying to give it to her.
Erica Vanderland trying to charge to the home stretch. Here comes DeMars with one final push. Faith DeMars of Penn State and Olivia Howell out of nowhere. Faith DeMars is your Big Ten champ. Olivia Howell charges to second. Erica Vanderland and Sam Sines third and fourth.
As we mentioned, Howell, one of those athletes that you certainly just can't count out, but you know, over the final 300 meters, she truly wasn't even a contender as that group really just start to split up, but you gotta hand it to Vanderland. She has not yet won an individual Big Ten title. She's been on the podium many times. She truly did everything she could to give herself a shot there.
Howell was 3 seconds back with 400 meters to go and was still about 3 seconds back with 200 meters to go. But the 1,500 and 202, 800 meter speed of Howell, she just closed so well, just left it a little bit too late to catch DeMars. DeMars fought back after that move was made by Erica Vanderland, then fought back when the move was made by Sam Sines. She was able to charge home down the home stretch and get the Big Ten title in the women's 5,000.
11 points for the Wolverines there, with Sam Sines coming in on the podium. She has 2 bronze medals from this championship. She was third in the 10K just a couple nights ago. Vanderland fades to fourth, still getting 5 huge points for the Wolverines there. Addie Engel will wind up finishing in 5th. But Faith DeMars comes back to win the women's 5K outdoor Big Ten championship title after finishing third in the steeplechase just last night.
And here's that move by Vanderland, the final 150. You see Sines in second, DeMars, but you see Howell coming out from nowhere. She's in fourth here. And way back, DeMars just doing enough to get past Vanderland with 40 meters to go. And then Howell, just a monster close to finish second. DeMars made the move early enough to hold off Howell. Howell second. And Sines just nipped Vanderland at the line